Good morning, dear children. In the previous class, we started with this chapter, New Questions and Ideas. We discussed about the life story of Gautam Buddha, how he attained enlightenment and he started preaching his teachings and how his followers increased day by day. And then we also discussed his eightfold paths of truth. And today we are going to start about Lord Mahavir. When he was born, how he too attained enlightenment and how he started teaching and preaching and how day by day, year by year, his disciples increased and his four paths of truth and nobility. So let's start with a discussion. So children, we already discussed about Gautam Buddha in our previous classes. Just have a quick review. Gautam Buddha, he was also known as God Siddha. His name was Siddharth, but he was known as Gautam. He was born 22,500 years ago and he belonged to a small Ghana and he was a Kshatriya. He attended the meetings, holding discussions, and finally he attained his path of enlightenment under a peepal tree at Bodh Gaya. Then he went to Sarnath where he had many followers and he delivered his preachings. He passed away at Kusinara. So Buddha's Four Noble Truths. Let's have a quick look at his Four Noble Truths. He said that life has inevitable suffering. There is a cause to our suffering. Then there is an end to our suffering. And the end to suffering is contained in the Eightfold Path. He also taught people to be kind, to respect the lives of others and also of animals. He believed that the results of our actions affect us both in this life and in the next life. He also taught the language of the ordinary people, Prakritik, so that everybody could understand his message. Then we also discussed the story of Kisa Gautami. And then we moved on to our next topic, Upanishads. So what is Upanishads? Some thinkers, they wanted to know about life after death, and others wanted to know why sacrifices should be performed. And so they were recorded in the Upanishads, and Upanishads literally means approaching and sitting near, and the texts contain conversations between teachers and students. Then we also talked about Panini the grammarian. This was the time when other scholars, they were at work, and one of the famous scholar was Panini, who prepared a grammar for Sanskrit. He arranged the vowels and the consonants in a special order and then used these to create formulae. Then we started with Jainism. The last and 24th Tirthankar of the Jains was Vardhaman Mahavir. He was born some 2500 years ago. He too was a Kshatriya prince of the Licchavis, a group that was part of the Vajji Sangh. Now we discuss 5 teachings of Lord Mahavir that are suitable to transform the world. Mahavir Swami's teachings were: always speak the truth. Control over oneself is very important. There is no point accumulating loads of wealth. that you can't even spend. Follow the path of non-violence. Be compassionate towards living beings. So these were Mahavir Swami's followers of Mahavira. They were known as Jains. They had to lead very simple lives, belonging for food. They had to be absolutely honest and were specially asked not to steal. Jainism was supported mainly traders, farmers who had to kill insects to protect their crops found it more difficult to follow the rules. The Sangh, both, as I have told you, that Mahavir and the Buddha, they felt that only those who left their homes could gain true knowledge. They arranged for them to stay together in the Sangh. What is a Sangh? It is an association of those who left their homes. The rules made for the Buddhist Sangh were written down in a book called the Vinaya Pitaka. Now, who could join these Sanghs? All men could join the Sangh. Children had to take the permission of their parents. Slaves, that of their masters. Those who worked for the king had to take his permission, and debtors, that of creditors. Women, they had to take their husband's permission. So these all were the people who could join the Sangh. First, if children wanted to join this group, they had to take the permission of their parents. If the slaves have to join, they had to take the permission of their masters. And those who worked for the king, they had to take the permission, and debtors, that of creditors. Women had to take their husband's permission. So children, whosoever is willing to join this Sangh, they had to take the permission from the one or the other people. Men and women who joined the Sangh, they lived simple lives. They meditated for most of the time and went to cities and villages to beg for food during fixed hours. That is why they were known as bhikkhus, which means in the Prakrit language, which means beggar, and bhikkhunis. They taught others and helped one another. Now, monasteries. What are monasteries? Both Jain and Buddhist monks, they went from place to place throughout the year, teaching and preaching people. The only time they stayed in one place was during the rainy season, when it was very difficult to travel. At that time, their supporters built temporary shelters for them in gardens, or they lived in natural caves in hilly areas. As time went on, they felt the need for more permanent shelters, and so monasteries were built. These were known as vihars. The system of ashrams. Brahmins, they developed the system of ashrams. 4 ashrams were recognized: Brahmachar, Grahasth, Vanprasth, and Samyas. That's all for today, children. I hope you all have understood the chapter, the teachings of Gautam Buddha, and also the teachings of Lord Mahavir. and I hope you will follow their path and move on the right path. Go through the chapter, mark the important teachings of both the thinkers, scholars, and try to learn and implement in your life. That's all for today. Thank you. Have a good day.